or score touchdowns. You need to score when you have the win on your side.
It hangs up in the air. You see the win right there as Letcher has to come up to a 30 to get it. Breaks the tackle, flag down, and Letcher will not get much on the return, but immediately you see the effects of the wind in this one. It'll be a face mask going in favor of the Stampeders, or pardon me, in favor of these Riders. And there you go, dragging Letcher to the ground. Is Laomi Ojulatayo will get dinged for the penalty there. And the Saskatchewan offense, which doesn't need a lot of help.
Major foul, face mask. Calgary number 82, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Trevor Harris.
Trevor Harris, unbelievable last week, 417 yards, which is only the 7th best of his career. At least, how does this guy have more better games than that? That was amazing. Stat hearing that this week. Just spectacular drive at the end of the game to win the football game.
6 incompletions, 3 touchdown passes, all of them to Sam Emelis. A lot of receivers to talk about, a lot of offense to talk about as the Riders go 1st and 10 from the 48 following the penalty. It'll be A.J. Ouellette. And there is Derek Moncrief in on the tackle. Moncrief is everywhere in this Calgary defense. And we check out a loaded Saskatchewan Roughriders offense.
Most outstanding offensive lineman, Jamarcus Hardrick, looked outstanding last week, continues to build on his Hall of Fame career. Kean Schaefer-Baker, last career high 11 catches last week, 165 yards, 7 catches for first down conversions. Amazing by him last week. Great relationship, him and Trevor Harris.
Schaefer-Baker, the second receiver, up to the top of the screen to Harris's left on 2nd and 7. Harris out wide, in behind coverage goes Keyshawn Johnson to the 30 and down. Harris knew where the hole was going to be and threw it before it was open, Lapo.
Basically trying to figure out, you're going to see a corner right here. He's going to sink in on an outbreaking route, but then the deep shot, Trevor's going to recognize the corner sitting. You'll see right there, the corner stops. Trevor knows it's happening, throws it to Keyshawn behind the coverage for a 38-yard gain. Great recognition by Trevor Harris, seeing that throw because the corner wants to take the underneath. You got to understand, Trevor's going to bait you and throw the deeper ball.
It didn't take much of a false step from Adrian Green, and that one was wide open. 1st and 10, Riders just outside the red zone, and we'll have a stop, a flag down. Here's the
Time count violation. Saskatchewan number 7, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
So you've seen a lot of time counts this season. Obviously the 20-second clock is factoring into some of these. As we know, there's basically 2 seconds right after the play's over. They start the 20-second clock. Some teams are trying to get caught up in understanding how that change in the rules is affecting it, but we have seen a lot of time counts this year.
1st and 15 now for Harris and company. We watched Samuel Emelis at the very top of your screen. 3 touchdowns last week. As Harris play action. He's ready across the middle for Keyshawn Johnson. Oh, and Adrian Green in great coverage to fight for the ball as it falls incomplete.
Play action pass, one of the things they did very well last week. Little play action on the inside, but I love what Green does. He undercuts this slant route as the ball's a little bit too far inside and gives him the opportunity to undercut that ball and almost get a pick.
Want to welcome you in if you're watching Montreal and Edmonton. The Elks winning on Cody Fajardo's touchdown pass in overtime. The 2-0 Elks, I should say. Touchdown run, pardon me, as we wait Trevor Harris here on 2nd and 15 deep in Calgary territory. Underneath, it is complete at the 20. Taken by Del Duncan Busby. That will now set up Saskatchewan for a field goal. As the Elks go to 2-0, Lapo.
Nice, outstanding win. And a guy named Justin Rankin had another big day, as we see, going through the stats on this game. Good stop here by the Stampeders. That's what you got to do to Trevor Harris. Can you get him in some difficult long yardage situations, force him to check it down, all right, get him off the field?
Alex Hale lines up for a 27-yard field goal attempt with this very stiff breeze, the hold from Oscar Chapman, and it's Saskatchewan scores on its opening drive. Keyshawn Johnson getting open. He did last week. He started it this week as the Saskatchewan. Minute 4 robbed of an opening win, the 30-28 loss in week 1 against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They start immediately with play action. Vernon wants deep down the sideline for Tevin Jones. Almost taken away by Marcus Sales. And it'll be second down. Take a look at the Calgary offense, and an offensive line that gave up 4 sacks in week number 1.
Chris Fortin, last year rookie, had to start for an injured Bryce Bell. Retained the job through training camp this year, and Jalen Philpott led the team with 7 targets, 5 of 96 last week at this new boundary slot position for Jalen Philpott. We'll talk about that today and what it means for him to play closer to the ball.
Yeah, you see him near the line, on the line. His little jump from that Saskatchewan defensive line, and the pointing will ensue.
And you can see that 1st and 10 pass that went up in the air. There was an open receiver. Vernon Adams put the ball up in the air. The wind just took it and brought that football back. That's how it's so important, how you manipulate throwing into the wind and also having the ability to run the ball into the wind. Let's see what happened here.
We'll take a look. Desmond Evans, the defensive end for this. There you go. There's Evans jumping, and then as a response, William Barnes, it looks like.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 98. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Evans, the rookie out of North Carolina State, a sack and 1 taken away by penalty in a nice debut.
Yeah, really good last week, and then certainly understanding, trying to, as these young guys try to understand the hard counts and being good with the hard counts.
With the penalty and the incompletion, 2nd and 5 for the Stampeders here in their opening drive. Saskatchewan running 5 across the front. All 5 will come. Adams, pressure in his face immediately, evades it Vernon Adams style and gets spilled at the 46-yard line. The pressure immediately from Antoine Brooks. It's a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down, Stamps.
Sometimes when you release the back out of the backfield, you have a free player off the outside. You see Woods right there, and you see in a position right where he's coming off the edge. You've got to account for him when there's not a position to be able to. You got to get the ball out of your hands when there's a free rusher like that. Kind of surprised Vernon there on that free rusher.
Mark Fassett to punt into this wind, gusting to 46 kilometers an hour, forces Letcher to run, and he's got the 36-yard punt, and he is whacked down before he gets to the 40-yard line. 1 possession apiece, 3-0 Saskatchewan. Trevor Harris, 2nd and 6 for Harris, surveying. Throws it into a hole, hit immediately at the 50-yard line. There's the completion to Jalen Johnson, and Saskatchewan is on the move with the wind again.
Watching this is going to be a layered route where you're going to try to put a player here, you're going to put a person deep, and you're going to put a person underneath, and you're just trying to clear this out. Watch this. We're going to try to clear out and then show up behind the corner route and throw it over the top of the halfback. This is so hard to throw. You see Adrian Green recognizes it, tries to get in to make the play, but a great throw in between for a 19-yard gain.
Just flip it to Olet. He is hit very quickly, drags it forward for a couple of yards. Kyle Wilson made first contact as he saw the fullback split out on the line of scrimmage ahead of that run.
The hardest thing about this Saskatchewan offense and Trevor Harris, he keeps getting first downs. He puts you in a position where you're going to have a lot of plays you're going to have to face. He's going to get first downs, and once he gets too many first downs, here comes a shot play. This was a team last year that was one of the most explosive downfield passers, even though Trevor Harris gets his, well, he throws it down, he throws check downs a lot. He stays on the field to create those shot plays.
It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Stampeders. Perhaps in field goal range with this breeze. Harris guns the out. Led Jalen Johnson into the Calgary bench and the netting and all sorts of things going by.
And here's what the Calgary defense has already got 2 good stops because of this. Last week, you like the stats? You want a stat here?
Oh, give me.
8 for 8 on 2nd and medium for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but only 4 conversions out of 10 on 2nd and long. So you long yardage twice for the Stampeder defense to put Sask in. Won both of those.
Hook it to my veins, Lapo. 2nd and medium stats. As they bring on Oscar Chapman to punt instead of the long field goal. Sky high, end over end, and it leaks into the end zone. McAllister will hope it goes out the back and smartly, and he goes up, held up very well by the Saskatchewan defense. And the rookie in his CFL debut, Juju Hughes, holds up the no gain.
James Vaughters comes in as a free agent for this defense from Winnipeg. Had 6 sacks last year trying to replace Malik Carney's productivity. How about this guy? Anton Brooks, 10 defensive tackles last week. Career high for him and tops in the Canadian Football League. Jackson Ford gets his 5th career start at free safety, filling in for Nelson Lacumbo. Had a start last year here in Calgary.
Calgary fake starting the play and either did so very successfully or very unsuccessfully.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Calgary can't have happening on 2nd and 10.
Procedure.
Getting backed up
Calgary
here.
number 61.
So the
5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
The philosophy when you're into the wind is you should be taking as much time off the clock as possible. You want to run the football. You want to stay on the field so Saskatchewan doesn't get great opportunities to either get yardage or keep punting with the wind at their back. You want to hold on to this football when you're into the when you're into the wind and minimize their opportunities with the wind.
2nd and 15 for the Stampeders, and they'll go screen to Mills with blockers in front. Mills gets back a couple of yards before Brooks makes the tackle, but 3 yards will not be enough, and Calgary will be forced to kick this one back again into this very brisk Calgary win.
Really good recognition and chase. You can see them coming off the edge on the outside. Caleb Saunders, 13 defensive tackles last season, 2 sacks. Really good push, recognizing the screen and chasing it down.
Mark Vassett back to punt. Their 2nd round pick in last year's global draft. Their 1st overall pick ended up taking his job mid-season. Nice boot. Letcher outside the numbers, 46-yard punt, and he's got the sideline, the 45. Letcher can't break that final tackle of Kalon Thomas, but the Riders set up just before the midfield stripe flagged down on the play. Sam Emelis had a game of guys would pay money to have a game like this.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns last week. Just
during the
multiple
return,
guys had plays, but had a great understanding of being in a relationship with Trevor Harris. The right spot, the right time. You see this corner out versus a touch for a touchdown with great leverage. High point the ball for these good plays.
That 3rd touchdown to Emelis looked like they were just playing on the schoolyard. They made it look so very easy for that 3rd one. Emelis, his 2nd career 3-touchdown game. You see Saskatchewan marching it all the way back there, dinged for holding on the return, and that one is punishing because they were right near midfield. Now they'll start this drive at their own 16, 1st and 10.
I love everything about Emelis. When you watch his film, he blocks, he's physical, he plays away from the football. What does that mean? He works when the ball's not coming to him.
Harris will throw on 1st and 10, looking for something. He whips it out wide and through the hands of Samuel Emelis, and it falls incomplete. It's not in the end zone, so you can't make all the catches unless they're in the end zone.
Easy throws on the outside. This is what Trevor Harris recognized so good at. This is what's called a free access throw. What does it mean? There's access on the outside. He's just going to take that throw. He sees it. The ball's out of his hand quickly to Sam. Just a little bit too far on the outside for him to make that catch.
Going with the wind, are there some effects that Trevor Harris will have here and then Vernon Adams the next quarter?
You do have to be a little bit careful how many deep shots because the ball may stay with the wind and push it downfield. You'd like to kind of throw the underneath dig routes.
2nd and 10. With a twist up front, Harris gunning it. Incomplete, intended for Johnson with a man all on top of him. That Jaden Granton coverage it was. And Saskatchewan will be forced to punt.
Another good stop by Calgary. Again, this is the 2nd series in a row where they forced a 3rd and long or a 2nd and long to put them in a position. And you can see the #1 receiver on the outside. This is what's called the dig play. They're going to clear out underneath and then try to throw the dig play, but it's just very difficult when you, when you have a defensive back inside position on a defensive inside dig route, so you get a DB into position.
Running into the halfback as opposed to Green chasing him when they tried that earlier. As we get a 0 on the play clock, and
So why would you
Time count violation. Saskatchewan number 91.
So why would
5-yard penalty.
Sask
Remains
be
third down.
this close to snapping this football? Why? Because they're in a situation here where they're trying to see what as this goes. I'm just not sure how they're trying to sort out this 20-second clock here, because you actually want to get this thing kicked as soon as possible to make sure you conserve time with the win.
Tyrese McAllister standing at his own 45-yard line. He will come up to get it, a chance to expand on his work last week. Good coverage downfield. McAllister, yeah, a lot of changes when you're the Grey Cup champions. The vultures come for your players, right? Dedrick Mills here on 1st and 10 as Calgary with great field position and a strong run. 6 yards from Dedrick Mills.
Dedrick on, what Calgary loves to run, which is this outside zone play, and they just stretch the defense and create creases. You're always trying to create creases in the defense and then let the back either circle the defense or get one cut. Really nice for Dedrick to get them, second and a good 6-yard gain as they keep rolling this clock trying to get in field goal range. So hard to get in field goal range when you're into the wind. Every punt doesn't get as far. The passes are hard into the wind. 2nd and 4 as they motion Philpott into the backfield. They've had him a little bit of everywhere so far. And they hand it to Philpott. And it doesn't really go anywhere, but it's an interesting wrinkle for this Calgary Stampeders team. It'll be a loss of 2, and they'll have to kick it. As you watch from this end zone, I think worst thing about is penetration. You're going to get some penetration right in here because you have extra linemen at the line of scrimmage. You have everybody covered, and then Ali Saad breaks right through there. He gets an inside move, gets upfield, and you can't have that upfield penetration and inside zone play. Ali Saad, 2nd-year player from Bowling Green, really good upfield pressure. You really liked him in the draft process. Yeah, I thought he was great to play inside or outside. Played the most out of all those rookie out of their defensive lineman rotation guys last season. Bassett booms one, and Calgary will take a no yards penalty. Oh, an unfortunate mistake for the Calgary Stampeders, a 55-yard punt that Letcher was probably going to have to concede the single point, but Calgary's going to find themselves 3 yards with a 15-yard no yards call if they want it. Yep, and then take the point off the board, right? And they'll make their decision on what they want to do. You see it here, Letcher making the decision. This decision has changed, right, this year with the new single rules, but Bassett's punt was just a hair too far, and yeah, you see the Saskatchewan
no yards,
Roughriders.
Calgary, 15-yard penalty, 1st down, no point.
So Saskatchewan could give the point, take the ball at the 40. They've chosen to give up no point and take the ball at the 30-yard line. Yeah, very smart here. Just away and going, hey, we're going to keep Calgary in the 1st quarter. We're going to hold them out, make sure they get no points, because next quarter, Calgary will have the win behind them, and the field position should flip and change. So they want to make sure they prevent any points from Calgary in the 1st quarter. Trevor Harris, 3 for 7 for 63 so far. A.J. Ouellette gets some room on the outside and brings the Thunder with him. A quick 13 yards for the Saskatchewan 1,000-yard back. You watch on this side of the formation, you're going to get an outside zone play right there. A little bit movement inside. Kyle Wilson gets caught up on the inside. AJ makes him understand, bounces it right outside into that hole where the Will linebackers are. They're running a little bit. They love this outside zone play too. Just a 2nd 1st down of this game for the Riders. They call it 12 yards for Ouellette, 1st and 10 from the 42. Might as well do it again. This one a little more traffic. Held up for no gain. Miles Brown is in there. And with a play like this, you just expect Jalen Hutchings to be in the middle of it. Yeah, same run, just to the other direction. But Jalen Hutchings does a great job bench pressing the offensive lineman off, moving out of the spot and stopping A.J. Ouellette's momentum and forcing the ball back inside. Hutchings, big dude inside at 304 pounds. Shows really good strength and power. We talked to Dave Dickinson this week. They gave up 15 carries for 113 yards to the Bombers. Dickinson told us Hutch solves a lot of our problems inside. He certainly does. Harris on second down, pressure coming, and it'll come back. A lot of action from Jalen Johnson, and makes a nice contested catch at midfield.
Sometimes this is what you want to do. Everybody's trying to, you're going to have people, let me show you this. These slots are going to get covered. That slot's covered. That slot's covered. But where the one-on-one is out here. So Trevor recognizes it and says, I'm going to take the curl on the outside versus the one-on-one. Adrian Green's too far back. I know it's a long throw, but he throws it with anticipation for the first down, understanding that everybody else is doubled. I'm taking the one-on-one on the outside.
Saskatchewan going very heavy here, and they will throw out of it. Harris going play action down the middle for Ebeles at the 20. The leaping catch is good from Sam Ebeles. Some of that Mark Mueller fun. I'm going to put out a big personnel package, and I'm going to throw it.
Exactly what you're talking about. Show a heavy run look. You see, you've got a tight end right here. You've got another fullback. They're going to show run and boot out of it. Now, why do you do that in that picture? One, it's a run look, but more than anything, it's a max protection. Everybody's blocked. You can see you give the quarterback a pocket, and you throw the one-on-one post downfield for the 38-yard gain here. Look at Ebeles go high point that football. That's what you need from your receiver. Go up and take it away at the highest point. Sam Ebeles with another explosive play.
Extra blockers, and they will keep it to the ground this time. Not much room for
how they play through the wind.
We resume with Saskatchewan on Calgary's 15-yard line, facing a 2nd and 8 and a drop play to Ouellette. It's 2nd and long. Why not run the ball when you have A.J. Ouellette? More Mark Mueller. You think you're going to get the pass, I'm going to give you something to run. You think you're going to get the run, I'm going to give you the pass.
Yeah, and why these draw plays work is because if you look here, everybody's trying to play the pass. Everybody's expanding, and now you have a one-on-one block across the field. Everybody's accounted for. You let the ends get upfield. You give it to A.J. Ouellette, and now he can just let the pass rush go up and get this gain. It's a 13-yarder on 2nd and 8. Huge run to get the big first down to put you inside Tommy Stevens' position.
Yeah, from the 2 with Tommy Stevens. He will go around the edge, and Stevens going to walk in for the game's opening touchdown. Perhaps the most effective short yardage quarterback and team in the Canadian Football League. And they've got the Riders their first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, a little interesting wrinkle we've seen here. Ali Saad playing a little bit of fullback on this team. He comes around the edge of the defense. You see him right here, and then he helps create the field. He creates this Tommy Stevens shorter edge so Tommy can just circle the defense. Sometimes you want to run outside instead of all those big bodies, and that mass of Helen creation is a bunch of big bodies inside there.
A 7-play, 80-yard touchdown drive. Took about 3.5 minutes. They finish it off against the breeze. They take a 10-point lead should Alex Hale's convert be up and good, and it is. Tommy Stevens, 95% of his quarterback sneaks last season. Oh, it's a 100% spike for the touchdown, and the Riders up for a bit before he was dropped by Jackson Ford. He looked up and saw a lot of white jerseys. Aubrey Miller Jr. getting the high fives before making the tackle. So now Calgary with the breeze and 13.5 minutes to work with it. Any hurry, any pressure? Does Calgary feel anything in the spot down 10?
Two things. You want to do everything with speed. You want as much time to run as many plays in this quarter as possible. But you can open up your pass game. You just got to stay on the field.
Fake the handoff, Vernon throwing it underneath and almost taken away. Antoine Brooks made all the plays last week. Was a hair's breadth from that one.
Watch Anton Brooks right here. They're going to do a little bit. They're going to do a little run on the inside after a zone read fake. Teams you'll see always trying to put one player in two positions that you can't make a play. Antoine Brooks plays between them both and then gets the knockdown.
2nd and 10 for the Stampeders. Jalen Brooks, top of your screen, tight to the formation again. Here come the Stamps. Adams playing it out wide for Brissett, who has to leap and make the catch. Just past the sticks, the tackle from DeMarcus Fields, and that is the Calgary Stampeders' first down.
passes on the outside, what you're always trying to get somebody in and then somebody out, and you're just going to read what the corner does on the wide side. So as the corner comes down, now you can throw on the halfback on the outside throw. Great read by Vernon, and great go up and get it by Dijon Brissett. Very happy to have him here. Last year, best year of his career, 65 catches, 907 yards from Toronto. Good addition to this receiving core. Gives him somebody a little bit more veteran presence.
Calgary doesn't dip into the free agent pool a ton, but Dickinson was very, very happy they were able to get Dijon Brissett. The run from Mills goes for 2, so Calgary in second and long again. Philpott in the slot to the low side. Here comes Saskatchewan with a 5-man rush. Vernon dancing around, stays alive and dives forward to the 45. Depending on the spot, this could be within range for Quincy Vaughn and the Calgary short yardage unit. Vernon keeps the play alive.
Very good play. Devin Adams trying to get in here as Vernon feels pressure. They brought 5 rushers, which puts all the offensive linemen in a bind. It's basically man coverage for the offensive linemen. They handled it pretty good, but he felt the pressure from White, scrambled up to get them to the short yardage situation. Good run by Vernon.
For Vaughn, it was 4 for 4 in his quarterback sneak so far this season. Diving over the pile, he needs the 47, and that will be a Calgary first down. Vernon Adams, as I saw him in week number 1, Lapo, I thought, man, he really doesn't run as much as I thought he did on those scrambles. It feels like he scrambles the pass, and then I look at the stats and I think, well, he had 35 pass scrambles last year for 286 yards, and he is running as much as he has in the past. I don't know why I had a different feel for him.
Last week, 2 weeks ago, he had 2 first downs with his legs, and if you can create 2 or 3 with your game, that just keeps you on the field. It makes it life difficult for a defense.
They split up 4 receivers to the left and run opposite direction with Mills, and there is that Saskatchewan run defense you talked about, holding him to a gain of maybe 2 yards.
And the other thing with talking about
Harris, they get to him with 4 men again. He steps up and guns it across the middle low. And did Tevin Jones pick that off the turf? They're saying it is incomplete. Adams, there you see it, scrambling to throw when maybe he had some room to work with on the run. And it'll be 3rd down steps.
Yeah, he just sees this player right in front of him, so he's going to take this shot. Get the explosive play. I think it just bounces a little bit too close for Jones. Can't pull it up off the ground.
4 possessions and 4 punts now as Bassett forces Letcher to run, and that is going to be a beautiful punt out of bounds.
Lapo, you mentioned in that first game of the year, he led the defense in tackles. Tonight, he already has 2.
And he sniffs out the wide receiver screen to Kean Schaefer-Baker, but Schaefer-Baker, who takes a late pop on the sideline, able to gain good yards, but 7-yard gain, but Moncrief saw it early on.
And from his position, you watch him. He's got to cover the bubble screen. They try to get a block on him. He fights over the top of the block, comes down, tries to get in a position to help out on that bubble screen on the outside. This is somebody you have to have an answer for in the run game and the pass game, especially in the run game. If he gets too close to the box, you throw that bubble screen like they did just right there.
2nd and 3 for Harris, so they empty out the backfield. Let's do another read. Wide balls on the ground, and Calgary's got it. Markel Lee is on top of it, and Calgary has forced a turnover already in the red zone.
Clarence Hicks is the one who gets it, but it's really a coverage sack. You'll see Hicks right there as he comes in. Trevor has to pull the ball down, can't get to his primary read, and then is able to get that because Trevor had to go to his 2nd read. Great coverage. Clarence Hicks gets there. You don't go for sacks, you go for the football. Right?
The previous play is under review by the command center.
You can see the defensive staff. They talked all week about, we got to get pressure on Trevor Harris. We said, well, good luck. Yeah, like, how does that happen? Good coverage sack right there, creating the takeaway.
From that first look, it looked like the big mitt of Jalen Hutchings took away what Harris wanted the first time around. Tom Valesi saying it'll be reviewed as all replays, as all turnovers are. They'll have a decision here.
We'll see what happens when they come with Tom Valesi, what he has.
Was Harris trying to throw the ball?
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Right, absolutely. And this is what this defense did last year. One of the strengths this year, they took the football away. Second in the CFL with 42 takeaways. That's what they got to do to create some of these. And now you got a short field. You got the wind at your back. Great start. The second quarter for Calgary.
Yeah, from the Saskatchewan 14-yard line. Here come the Stamps. They give it to Diedrich Mills through the middle to the 5 and down to the 1-yard line. Diedrich Mills unlocking the run game of the Stampeders right there. 13 yards. And it's quarterback sneak time for the Stampeders now.
You're always got to make sure you have all your edges. Calgary runs all these multiple formations. A lot of receivers close to the line of scrimmage, and they block both edges, and then they just hand it off to Diedrich Mills to get the ball up and inside.
Quincy Vaughn, the short yardage quarterback, up over the top and in, and the Stampeders have their first touchdown of the game, taking advantage of the turnover, and with the convert, they would make it 10-7.
Great complimentary football. The punt was a 50-yard punt.
With the breeze, the points are flowing here in the game. And Jude McAtomney has a chance if they can get everybody onto the field. 7 on the play clock as there's some confusion for the Stamps. McAtomney, pardon me, puts it up and through. Halfway through quarter number 2. Calgary back within a score. 10-7 thanks to Quincy Vaughn. His first touchdown of the game. The showdown is on in Calgary.
And he expects him to go push to the number 1 receiver.
Calling a gain of 9. It'll be 1st and 10. It'll be A.J. Ouellette time as he pounds it through the middle. A.J. Ouellette and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I can't imagine a more perfect player and team compatibility in the Canadian Football League. They love what he does.
Yeah, and then throw Jamarcus Hardrick on that offensive line. You've got a really good unit that loves to run the football. And, hey, that's been their M.O. for this football team. You know, Saskatchewan, they protect the football. All right, they stay on the field. We were talking to Corey Mace about it. I'm like, how about a 12-play drive for your defense? He's like, it's amazing. Our guys are relaxed. They're waiting. You know, this unit stays on the field, creates first downs, and makes it a lot easier for a defense. Now they're into the win.
Second and medium, as you mentioned, they were 8 for 8 on it last week, and there's another one across the middle. Schaefer Baker makes a man miss. Key and Schaefer Baker with a block. He'll score! Schaefer Baker, touchdown! 53-yard catch and run. Jalen Johnson, I think, provided the block that sprung him. Oh, yeah, little boogaloo. Little boogaloo. I would, too, if I could score like that.
Schaefer Baker splits this zone, and the protection's really good, but Trevor's recognition, as you see him flip his hips, see the space in between the defense, he gets it, throws it right off Lee's shoulder. Keyshawn Shea, when there's that much space, you put receivers in a position to make people miss. When you hit that ball full speed in stride, that's what happens on that, leads to a touchdown.
Alex Hale for the convert. It is up and good. A 74-yard touchdown drive into the breeze as Kean Schaefer Baker gets his first touchdown of the season. Had a big game last week, earned maybe a little unflattering nickname. They call him now Little Spoon. Little Spoon certainly got it done here.
Yeah, you can see as we roll this and go ahead, you're going to see as he's working upfield, he's just going to split the 2 linebackers. And as he makes the little inside move, Trevor throws it before the middle linebacker gets it. You want to throw it as he's breaking inside of the first linebacker, creates the space you need. There's nobody in the middle of the field. Schaefer Baker runs it in. You love big receivers you can spot the ball to in that space.
A lot of the talk, obviously, after last week's game was Sam Emelis and Trevor Harris telling us Emelis is an absolute dog with his blocking. And Jalen Johnson downfield, pushing a defensive back out of the way.
Here's the hardest part. You talk to these defensive coordinators, you're like, all right, what are you going to do against Trevor? Like, let's not play zones because he's going to pick you apart in zone. Well, then if you start playing more man coverage, it's easier for quarterbacks to recognize where to go the football in man, and then he can get the explosives to get a lot more explosive in man coverage. But it's so hard with how well the quarterbacks are playing. Not only Trevor Harris, but all the quarterbacks in the league right now are really picking apart the zones.
Well, and let's not kid ourselves. That throw was not far out of the reach of the linebacker, Kelechi Anyalabeci. Like a yard to the left, and that ball is on the ground.
And he knew he was throwing to the right, and he actually used his eyes to move the middle linebacker out of the way.
McAllister from his 23-yard line looking to get unleashed, flagged down, and he'll go down just shy of the 50-yard line. Flags generally not good for the return team in this scenario, as Calgary certainly happy to have Tyreek McAllister back in the Canadian Football League. Hamilton in 2023.
During the return, holding, Calgary number 82. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That is once again, it's a second penalty for rookie Leomi Ojatalayo. That sets the Stampeders back.
And this is a huge penalty because you had great field position with the wind at your back. You don't, with a wind this strong, you don't need that many yards to get your field goal. So fortunately, this is going to back them up a little bit.
Oh, and one of the riders down back toward the bench. I think he was able to walk back toward the 50-yard line. It's Kerfala Exame, but he'll be up and back. And yeah, the rookie Ojatalayo. Couple of penalties so far. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, both were on returns, setting them back.
And the reason the Calgary Stampeders drafted him was because his abilities, big, strong, physical, and he can play receiver. They're going to teach him how to be a receiver, but eventually he's going to have to start on special teams. Just can't get those early penalties to hurt his offense.
So you're saying coaches don't like penalties?
We don't like penalties.
Do you like rookies? How are you on rookies?
We don't like rookies that get penalties. How about that?
There we go. Okay, it's a toxic combination for Dave Dickinson.
Rookies get penalties, Derek. That happens.
This game happens fast, right? We watch it here on TV. It's nowhere near as fast as it must be down on that field. So here's Vernon Adams. 3 of 6 for 14 yards passing, and under pressure he's going to gun again. A little underneath route, and is tackled immediately by Josh Woods. That one complete to Eric Brooks, who scored a touchdown for the Stamps in their season opener.
Yeah, Eric Brooks, does a really good job last game. He had a couple double moves for a touchdown, had that big catch at the end of the game to get the ball inside the 3-yard line. Just sits down on the little crossing route. Woods is right there to wrap him up.
Stampeders take what they get. They can get a couple of yards. They get to 2nd and 4. Need to get somebody on the line of scrimmage up on that far side. Harris signaling to move some bodies across under a 5-man rush. Adams has to throw down to Dedrick Mills, and not much chance that was going to be completed. And it'll be 3rd down for the Stampeders as their offense continues to fluster. Their 4th 2 and out of this game.
Yeah, another good stop by the defensive line. They're rushing 5 players, forcing one-on-ones. Vernon doesn't have a good feel for where the underneath throw is. He's got to throw it under duress. Misses the underneath throw to the back.
Bassett can unleash this one into the wind. Look at this side-winding kick, forces Letcher to run, and he catches it. Maybe could have let that one go out of bounds and take the penalty, but Letcher puts his hands on it, and Calgary will be pinned to its 21-yard line. Saskatchewan, pardon me, to its 21-yard line after the 60-yard punt. The 2026 FIFA World Cup continues. All right, a 7-yard pickup for A.J. Ouellette. 7-yard pickup there for A.J. Ouellette after the 57-yard punt. Mark Bassett taking advantage of the wind and perhaps a bit of a blunder from James Letcher, but there's A.J. Ouellette helping them get out of a hole.
Yeah, Really good run upfield, 7-yard gain. Moncrief blitzes off the edge. They handle Moncrief, create a huge seam on the inside to get AJ a big 7-yard gain. Stay.
2nd and 3, a couple of tight ends. Anything still possible from Saskatchewan. They'll run it, and it'll work with AJ Ouellette on the outside, up across the 40-yard line. I never know what to expect from Mark Mueller. Double tight ends, he could do anything out of here. He goes conventional with Ouellette.
Yeah, and you know, they do a good job with this. You're going to see this is like what's called a pin and pull. See, a guy blocks down, and then you pull around. And you're trying to separate the defense and create creases. That's what happens on this play. On the pin and pull scheme, you can see Mark Mueller there sitting down, making the plays here. Hey, they're doing a great job because they're running the time off of this, not giving Calgary a chance to kick a long field goal if they can stay on the field.
If you can run for 10 yards like that last play, you'll just keep on running with AJ Ouellette. 11 for 64 before that one, so now 67 yards in the first half.
Yeah, no, they certainly would love to drive the length of the field, get another touchdown pass, but if they don't, because it's a long field goal into this win, so they're probably not taking a really long field goal, but if they drive the length of the field, punt it, and then create a really long field for the Stampeders, they win this battle of the win position when they're into the win.
Because Calgary wanted to win here in the 2nd quarter, and if Saskatchewan can rob them of a chance to have the ball with the wind, that's a win for the Riders here. Leading by 10. Be 2nd and 7. Flags down pre-snap. As somebody got a little across the line of scrimmage.
So this is, you know,
Offside. Calgary number 1. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
if you watch Clarence Hicks right here, off the hard count, you can see Trevor with the hard count. They know this is going to happen. You're you're putting yourself in a 2nd and medium position to put yourself a 2nd and short. That could have been what you call, sometimes we call those, you know, we're not calling a football play. We're going to do a hard count, and I'll call the play after so nobody jumps off sides.
Hicks with a sack in their opener against the Bombers. 12 sacks last season. May not get an opportunity here. Now 2nd and 2, and there is Ouellette busting through the right side of the line, and bodies pile up after Saskatchewan has the first down with now 1:50 to go in the half, and a first down means more time for them and less time for Calgary with this breeze.
Yeah, real difficult penalty to take on 2nd and 7. To create that 2nd and short was really hard, but they just going to lean on you and get AJ downfield with his shoulders square for the first down.
Trevor Harris last week, we talked about a bunch so far, about 30 of 36 and 3 touchdowns. A couple of balls I think that got away from him could have been taken away, but for the luck of the draw, they were not, and Saskatchewan gets away with the win there. So not a perfect game from Harris. Toss to Ouellette going outside as they keep it back on the ground, and there's Calgary responding. Not bad there. Looks like it'll be a gain of about 4 for Ouellette as he pushes up to almost 80 yards. Or pardon me, Thomas Bertrand-Houdon, who runs hard like AJ Ouellette, a guy I love watching.
Yeah,
TBH.
You know, there's a lot of different things in this system, whether it be blocking, sometimes get some carries. You know, it was interesting seeing AJ Ouellette last week take a quarterback sneak because they didn't want Trevor Harris to do it. So Mark Mueller does a lot of different things using a bunch of different bodies in certain positions.
If you can get value from non-starters on your roster, it feels like that's a major win. It was good for 3 yards there. 2nd and 7 as Harris throws the quick out, and Schaefer Baker again. They'll step out of bounds, throw at the sticks, race past the sticks, and the drive will continue.
This is what Trevor Harris is so good at. Pre-snap, he sees Kyle Wilson lined up inside position on Schaefer Baker. He immediately gets the ball in his hands and just throws the ball on the outside for an easy gain on the outside because he's got Wilson inside position on Schaefer Baker. Clear out the corner, throw the ball.
Schaefer Baker now 70 yards receiving. And it looks like Saskatchewan's going to be able to use all of the clock here in the first half. Run it once again, bouncing outside, Bertrand-Houdon. Down to the 35-yard line. The third-year man out of Delaware State. There are some players, Lapo, in this league that I absolutely love. And Bertrand Dudon doesn't get a ton of carries or a ton of action, but when he does, he's going to leave an impact on
those
some
guys
defender.
Always, when they get their opportunities, they're going to run harder because they know they don't get that many opportunities. So Udon, really good 7-yard gain, and again, low center of gravity. You want your running backs to keep their feet moving.
2nd and 3, under 50 seconds to go here in the half, and they'll run it again, and Bertrand Dudon will get to bounce it outside. He'll be wrestled down eventually by Derek Moncrief. There's 5 yards and a first down with still plenty of time for the Saskatchewan offense.
Let's show you what a counter play is. Here's one guy, and you're going to see one of the slots come in, and they're trying to separate the defense. They're going to kick out and separate the defense. You can see it happen right there. There's the kick out. There's the block inside. Give him the opportunity.
9th play of this drive into the breeze. It's a corner run for Emelis at the 5. And he's got it. Just between Sombak and Anthony Johnson. Sam Emelis with a big catch. And Saskatchewan is on the doorstep.
All right, take a look. This is a play that you always see in the Canadian Football League. It's going to be a corner route with high position. If these two guys stay low, you throw the corner route. He sees it immediately that there's inside position and the corner was low. The ball's up in the air, but huge catch.
Harris now over 200 yards. The deep out for Schaefer Baker, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down.
Pretty much the exact same play to the other side of the field now. A corner route to the back of the end zone. Just a little bit got caught up in the wind on that. But Trevor just understands. He saw that previous one on the MLS catch. He says, I got inside position. The corner stayed low. I'm going to take this throw. The ball get caught up. So MLS does a great job coming back to this football, knowing he's going to take also a shot by Anthony Johnson.
I feel like the corner route is the least defendable pass.
Well, it's so hard because down here at the goal line, you always want to protect the inside, the quick throw, so that they want you to try to take that throw to the wide side of the field, the harder throw.
2nd and goal for Harris. Empty backfield. The corner again for Schaefer Baker. He's got the ball in his hands. And he little spoons it again as Kean Schaefer Baker has the touchdown. Schaefer Baker did that pose in the embrace of a BC Lions player last weekend, earning the nickname Little Spoon from his teammates. Not sure I want that nickname, but I would absolutely want the touchdown here from Trevor Harris.
And you love big-bodied receivers, 6'4", 205. Same thing, Trevor recognized, I got this one-on-one. I got a player inside position. I'm just going to put it this time. I'm going to bench it towards the sideline a little bit to give him the opportunity to just catch it on the sideline.
Jackson Sombak, the safety, doing everything he can to make that catch, pull it out of Schaefer Baker's hands. The convert goes wide, and McAllister will explore the space a little bit around Devin Adams, and he's planted by Miller just before the 5-yard line.
And this is great situational football, because here's what happens.
You know what that means when you see this face?
Would talk about situational.
You know what that shit mean?
We always talk about this scenario. Is like, I want to run all the clock and score a touchdown. We used to call it squirrel offense. We're gonna take all the time away from you, and then we're gonna score at the end. Now Calgary's got nothing to do because there's only 13 seconds left on the clock. Schaefer Baker, great awareness, understanding, and coming back to that football for the touchdown.
I don't know the official rules here, but I believe Schaefer Baker was $5 to the swear jar. Is that how it works?
Might be. We'll add that.
Okay.
It was Bill. Not supposed to swear on the air, but you know.
He's such an interesting character, Schaefer Baker. In the Craig Dickinson era, Dickinson a couple of times when he was the head coach of the Riders said, Kean needs to learn what time the bus is. And I wondered about him at that point in his career. Which way is it going to go? Is he going to be the guy who's late for the bus? No, he's turned out to be a dominant receiver when he's able to be on the field.
All of us.
Yeah, and certainly had some injuries over the last couple of years, but just love the ability with a 6'4", 205-pound player. We get into talking about how great the Canadian receivers are in the league this year. He's by far one of the biggest guys you're going to see. Justin McKennis, these are really good big players that you can spot the ball to. On that 11-play, 86-yard drive, took 2:48 off the clock, and that's the most important thing. The Calgary Stampeders get no opportunity with the wind in their back for field goal.
Look at his hang up in the air at the foot of Alex Hale. Free ball, and the Riders have it with 12 seconds to go inside the 45. Alex Hale's kick hung up in the air. One bounce and the presence of mind to pull it in. I believe it's Kerfala Exame with the recovery.
So with the ball way up in the air, one of the Stampeders got to recognize this, come up and take this football, make sure you get it. Once the ball goes 10 yards, it's anybody's ball right here, so they don't get up and get it. Exame, outstanding job getting this. Now they got a little bit of yardage. They got to get it probably at least 12, 15 yards to kick this field goal into the win. Great execution by the special teams.
It would be about a 52-yarder for Hale. 10 seconds to go, so one, maybe two plays can Harris pull off. There's a quick stick route just inside the 40-yard line. That one pulled out by A.J. Ouellette, split out wide. 6 seconds left on the clock. Do they risk one more offensive play here?
No, now what's going to happen, though, you can see them hold. Oh, they're holding hands up, throwing their hands up. This is going to put their... They're going to put their field goal team on, but they're going to put the guys who can cover kicks. So it's going to be, you're going to have other players. You're not going to have your regular offensive lineman. You have the guys that can protect, but are also a little bit more athletic and run downfield, whether defensive ends or how they're going to put themselves in what's called their speed field goal team. So covering in case this long field goal is missed into the wind.
As Oscar Chapman will pin this at the 47-yard line for Hale into the stiff breeze. He's got the distance. And it's wide to the left, and here comes McAllister with a chance to turn this game around. McAllister cutting back 30. McAllister, if he gets past Hale, Tyreek McAllister. One man to beat. Can Woods catch him? Touchdown! What looked like an incredible opportunity for the Riders with the Exame recovery ends up costing them thanks to Tyreek McAllister. Not what we expected.
The missed field goal return in the Canadian Football League is the most explosive football play. The odds always talk about if there's a missed field goal, how many of those score touchdowns over the course of a CFL season or the history of the CFL. When you miss and you have big offensive linemen or big defensive linemen on the field, there's too much space, can't cover it, and you got these great returners and too much field.
And you can have your speed team, your long field goal team out there, but Tyreek McAllister proved a kickoff. Hale kicking into the breeze. McAllister will get an opportunity from his own 23-yard line. Cutting it back and into a hole and up to the 40-yard line.
And let's do one more, right, as you see Vernon coming out here, 4 of 8, 20 yards we just talked about. And here's a question. You're like, didn't Saskatchewan have the choice in the second half? Why didn't they take the ball? Why? They wanted to take a side, so in the fourth quarter with the wind at the end of the game, they have the win. So that's what the scenario that happens in these wind games. They get the opportunity in the fourth quarter with the wind, and that's what you always want.
Yeah, that final 3 minutes plays out to be about twice as long as a regular minute, right? So you have these extra long quarters, and every coach in the league now goes for it as Adams starts with his 5th completion. That one across the middle, good for 8 yards as he connects with Vashon Janusis.
Yeah, Janusis just sits in the dead spot in the zone as the defenders, the underneath coverage expands. Easy read for Vernon, just take Janusis underneath.
And just taking what he can get, and if what you can get is 8 yards, you've set up your offense pretty well here going with the breeze. Can they unlock Vernon? Can they unlock Dedrick Mills? Can they get anything against this Saskatchewan defense? Tight end to the right. Adams will roll that way, and a little shovel underneath the Philpott. A little creativity from the Stampeders. His first catch for Philpott, and they're into Saskatchewan territory.
This is what's called a shovel play, where these two guys block backwards. You're going to pull somebody around, and then you're going to option this end. If he goes upfield, you'll throw it up inside. You can see he widens. You throw it back inside on the shovel play. So you're widening at a defensive end, and once he widens, he shovels, for the 9-yard gain. If the guy stayed inside, Vernon keeps the ball on the outside.
They'll stay in that heavy package and motion Philpott to the near side on first down. And there goes Mills out the left-hand side across the 50. He's planted down by Jackson Ford. Dedrick Mills, the guy who
player with 12 tackles last week, makes a miss on a clean shot in the hole. Dedrick Mills.
Now here's where Calgary will need to pick it up. 2 for 8 on second down so far in this one, facing a 2nd and 6 in Saskatchewan territory. Despite the screams of a hold, here comes the blitz. Adams has time, has a man open across the middle. It's Philpott, 25, and down to the 20-yard line. The protection held up against the blitz, and he finds one of his favorites, number 85.
Clear out underneath, get a big dig by Jalen Philpott underneath. Huge, big gain for 29 yards as they clear everybody out underneath. Jalen Philpott's doing really good things when they move over to what you call a 4-by-1 set. They move him from the boundary to the field, run a dig and back into the middle of the field in front of him.
Calgary's longest offensive play of the game. Second time Calgary is in the red zone. Play action and drag it across goes Brooks to the 15. Can't quite break the tackle, and he's put down inside the 15-yard line. Good for 6 from Eric Brooks.
Little BTL, what's this called? Behind the line of scrimmage screen pass where you can see the receivers already blocking. And this is some of the adjustment. They've struggled to run the football inside. What do? Fake the run, get the ball to a productive player out on the flat to get some second and short yardage situations so we can kind of run the ball second and short to create second and short or third and 1.
And 2nd and 4, you could run the ball, you could throw the ball. Leaves Vernon a lot of options here. They will take the run option. The Mills stumbles, he's submarined in as Brooks came in very low and very early, no gain, and it'll hold Calgary to a field goal attempt.
Here's the problem when you bring multiple receivers in. You see all these receivers in the blocks, they're coming back, but Brooks is going to blitz because he doesn't have to cover anymore. He's going to show. You see Philpott trying to get in to block him, but he beats him across his face to make the play. Little chirping at the end saying, you ain't going to get runs on me.
As they line up for the 22-yard field goal attempt, we, as non-football people, we think of, we'll just bring in more blockers, but more blockers
means more defenders.
Exactly. As the Mikitomney kick is up and through, Calgary scores on the opening drive. And you saw in that highlight pack, Lapo, a lot of yards before contact, a lot.
Yeah, and then, you know, sometimes you got Jacob Brammer, Jamarcus Hardrick, Zach Fry, a bunch of big guys leaning on the defensive line, and you talked about the Calgary Stampeders struggle against Winnipeg 2 weeks ago, stopping the run. So you can see Saskatchewan Roughriders looking at that film saying, hey, let's make sure we try to run the football on first down.
That one good for 2 yards from Ouellette. 2nd and 8 as the Stamps go back to, or probably the Riders go back to 5 receivers, and now 6. Harris waiting, lofting, caught by Schaefer Baker, and down to the 35-yard line. Once again, Trevor Harris seems to know exactly what's about to happen.
So this is what you call a poison route. He's going to go up and he's going to widen out to get the linebacker to move, and then he's going to break back inside as you run it here. So you watch him. He's going up, he breaks out real quick, and then back inside trying to get the linebacker. But sometimes you just throw it over the linebacker when you have a 6'4" player that you trust. So great location by Trevor, because the linebacker didn't expand too much, but Trevor just threw it up for his big guy to go catch it.
Schaefer Baker over 100 yards. This throws Kyle Wilson for just a second there, and that's 1st and 10 from the 35, and they'll run it with Ouellette again. He's going to have to fight to get anything good out of this carry. It'll be a gain of about 2 for Ouellette. The 3 receivers last week, and today, not quite last week's totals, but 220 for the big 3.
Look at the title, Saskatchewan. I love that. Where's our graphics department? Amazing. You got 3 different guys. Who are you going to double, right? Who are you going to double? You got A.J. Ouellette, just really good And that's what Trevor will bring you. He's going to get to his first, second, third, fourth read in his progressions. He talked about it. That's what I work on all offseason, getting through my reads and my progressions. 2nd and 8. Not a lot of pressure brought by the Stampeders in this game, and the Riders are dealing with it. There's Jalen Johnson, but that ball hits the ground. Johnson, a bunch of targets early in this game, had the first down. He did not have the football. Just in a good. Trevor flips his hips, finds the backside dig. Johnson just drops it, but he feels the linebacker underneath. Doesn't secure it. Wow, and look at this, Lapo. Alex Hale with the missed field goal into the breeze just before halftime. They're leaving the offense on the field on 3rd and 8. Is it for real? Is it pretend? It should be for real, because unless they think they're going to get 5 more yards for the field goal. Calgary rushes 5. The deep out to the wide side for Evelis. He's got it in his hands, and it's a catch. And Corey Mace's aggressiveness into the wind nets him 13 yards and a first down. We talked about this earlier in the game. Trevor just taking the one-on-one on the outside, and it's just going to be an out-breaking route. He doesn't have to worry about anything else but the leverage of the corner. He throws it early, throws it outside for the huge throw and a huge first down. You're in that position right here, like, do we punt it? We're in a position where, hey, like, we've got to make sure we stay on the field and keep them from having any more win plays. They pass up on a 41-yard field goal attempt as they hand it to Ouellette in the red zone down to the 16-yard line. Because that 41-yard field goal is not a 41-yard field goal into this win. So you got to be very cautious and then give them an opportunity. So good call, great execution. Trust your quarterback who can throw complete passes at 80%. It's a massive statement about what you feel about your kicker, right? Because the field goal attempt at half was certainly longer than that, and he had the distance. He's got the distance, but those uprights can make it tricky. It might be a measure on the win more so than your kicker. Interesting. Yeah, an interesting decision from Corey Mace, who will be a little more aggressive. 3 yards on first down, so Harris at 2nd and 7 under the 4-man rush again. Pressure off his right side. There's Ouellette to the 10. The spin to keep it alive and down inside the 5. From his coach, Andrew Harris, I feel like may have taught AJ that one. This is why Trevor Harris is one of the best in the business. Watch the linebacker, Markel Lee. Watch him leave. They're trying to put everybody out in coverage, but Trevor knows that he has a check down in AJ Ouellette. So immediately, what's he do? Nobody in the middle of the field. I'm just going to drop it down to AJ Ouellette, give him yardage. His vision is outstanding as he starts to look to the right, know what he has inside. Everybody's trying to cover on the outside. He's always finding his check down. 13 yards to the Calgary 4. 1st and 10. Screen to Schaefer Baker. Can he get into number 3? And the nice tackle. Jaden Grant wrapped him up, lost his helmet along the way. 3 touchdowns for Evelis last week. Feels like, hey, 3 for Schaefer Baker this week. Balanced attack. This is all great by Jaden Grant right here. You know, he has to run from his high position, run down because there's nobody covering Schaefer Baker. He runs all the way down. Nice tackle. That's what you have to do when the secondary players have to come downhill, make a play on these bubble screens. Really good play by Jaden Grant. 2nd and goal from the 3. Would Corey Mace go on 3rd down if this ball were to fall incomplete? 9th play of the drive is a Harris drop back. Locked it for Keyshawn Johnson for the touchdown. Damon Webb and Andy Maletti will discuss what exactly went wrong there, but Keyshawn Johnson, all is right for the Rider. Mark Mueller really trusts his quarterback in this situation. You got just a couple of yards for it to be in the end zone. So if you run the ball here, you can go for it on 3rd down. But he trusts his quarterback, puts the ball in his hands, say, hey, let's throw the slant, put it in a spot where only he can catch it. Keyshawn Johnson with an amazing catch, or really an amazing throw by Trevor Harris with 3 yards. We've got a penalty showing up here on the... Couple of flags down, and they're holding back halfback Damon Webb from the Saskatchewan. By the way, the Riders leaving their offense on the field up by 12. They'd be looking to go up 14 in this spot. Not a spot where a lot of coaches
are worried about two-pointers at this point of the game, but Corey Mace changing it up. So a couple flags down after the play, well after the touchdown, as referee Tom Valesi has some discussions with the gang in Toronto. And if this penalty is against the Riders, it would set up, against the Stamps, it would set up the Riders for a little easier on the two-point convert instead of just the 3.
Yeah, and you're going to go for 2 here to make it a 14-point game. That's what you want to do.
When do you start worrying about that?
You just follow the numbers till you get to a point where, like on your sheet, I think my sheet would have stopped after 15 points. You know, like.
But like when in the game, because there's still 20 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, but still, like, you know. All right, here's the.
After the touchdown, we have a 15-yard misconduct penalty, Calgary #1, that we applied on the kickoff.
Clarence Hicks called for the misconduct.
Okay.
The defensive end.
See number 1, I think Clarence Hicks right here is in the pile. You can see him there, the little punch on Emulus right in front of the official.
So Hicks will cost his team on the ensuing kickoff. The Riders going for 2 to extend the lead to 14 if they're successful. It's A.J. Ouellette to the ground.
They've got the wind at their back, but sooner or later it's going to flip again to Saskatchewan. You see right there, points in the wind. That's the difference of this game. Sask got 28. Calgary's got 0. The penalty did not help this team either. They get a penalty that pushes them all the way back to start this drive on their 20. And it should have been at least at the 40-yard.
Yeah, a needless 15 yards, giving up high snap. Of course, Mills, he'll bounce it outside. Guys at Chase flag down, and Mills sends a defender down into the sideline. DeMarcus Fields took the worst of that one at the 28-yard line, but Calgary's backing up like the penalty will go against them.
Yeah, I think William Barnes is going to get this penalty on Desmond Evans. He was holding
Calgary
at the point
#14. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Oh, I thought it was on Barnes. They didn't give it on Barnes?
They said, yeah, 14, Clark Barnes, holding to Von Campbell.
Yep, Clark Barnes. We got William Barnes and Clark Barnes, right? The left side of your screen, you'll hear. They'll come right into the left side of your screen at the end.
I see what you're saying about William Barnes.
William Barnes had him in a little bit. That's what I wasn't sure of, but.
Yeah, Barnes is going to the ground, appeared to have some jersey in his hand. But 7 penalties for 75 yards against the Stampeders. It puts them in 1st and 20. BA play action, off balance, completed, so he gets a bunch of those yards back as he connects with Barnes. Barnes, 14 yards for number 14 after he cost them those first 10. 15 yards, in fact, so the parallel construction falls short there.
Just wraps around the outside linebacker on a quick little curl route. You can see Brooks expanding the coverage and giving him a throw on the inside.
5-man rush, check it down to Mills at the 30-yard line. The Stampeders hurrying in this final 3.5 minutes with the breeze. And there is a first down for Dedrick Mills.
Good recognition. Everybody working for width. Throw the ball inside to Dedrick Mills on 2nd and 5. Keep going with speed while you got the wind in your back.
6 on the line of scrimmage. They'll run it anyway with Mills right into a linebacker. Mills able to push the pile a little bit forward to maybe the 37-yard line. Call it a gain of 3.
Yeah, and Dedrick Mills, 7 carries so far. They've been trying to get him going, but only 27 yards. You say, well, you got to get your tailback more touches. How do you get your tailback more touches? You can't be 2nd and long all game. That's what's going to cause you problems to be able to get touches to your tailback. You got to get more first downs. You got to stay on the field. You can't be in 2nd and long.
And you have to convert these 2nd and long, so you have the option, right, on the next first down. Calgary fake starting to play. They'll run it again. Adams pumps, whips it out wide. Oh, back inside. Intended for Dejon Brissett. It might have been a little closer to the defender than Adams would have liked.
This could have gone. DeMarcus Fields came underneath it. He's the low player in zone, and Vernon's trying to throw it outside, threw it too far inside to Brissett, and DeMarcus Fields is right there to make this play. Almost made it for a big interception.
Mark Bassett can put this ball up into the breeze. He just wants to keep it away from Letcher. Flag down already. Here comes Letcher for the 20. The 25. Oh, up top with the tackle. He breaks through it. and he's across the 40-yard line. He got wrenched by the first man down. Hopefully Letcher is all right.
2 returners to make sure they catch this ball in the air and get something.
Letcher
return
wants to know why there is no flag down for that truck that hit him. As Trevor Harris leads the gang back onto the field. Real good job to respond and hold that one to minimal gain, as Ouellette 82 yards before that carry, so let's call it 83 now. Gain of 2, 84 yards, and puts the Sask into second and 8. Trevor Harris, just an incredible, if you take a look at AJ Ouellette, just amazing what Trevor Harris, I say amazing, as Ouellette actually needs a moment on the side, on the field here, and the trainers are going to come out and check with him. I was going to say the season Trevor Harris has had. Oh, okay, there's Ouellette with the limp and not feeling well enough to make it to the sideline.
3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He does have the fumble, but that's the hardest part about playing Trevor. He doesn't make very many bad decisions that lead to interceptions through the course of the game. And right now he's sitting at 74% completions, and just trusting. Mark Mueller and him have a great relationship. He talked about it. He's like, how we design our game plan from week to week. We've always got easy throws available to Trevor Harris.
Second and 8, the 4-man rush. Harris looking for an option. Oh, Jalen Johnson. Looked like he might have had something going on Anthony Johnson, but that one sails up out of bounds and incomplete.
Looked like a little double move play on the outside on the corner, trying to get Anthony Johnson. We got Johnson versus Johnson down here on the bottom of the screen. Let me highlight these guys. I got it right there and right there. As we go ahead, Johnson versus Johnson, he makes a little out and then up the sideline. So trying to get him to flat foot, had it, he just threw it too far outside.
As Oscar Chapman on to punt after Saskatchewan's second 2-and-out of the game. 45 minutes in, only 2 2-and-outs. Another sign of what this Saskatchewan offense has been able to put up through now almost 2 games. Ball lingers in the air for McAllister. 40-yard punt to the sideline, wrapped up and slammed down by Thomas Bertrand Udall. No touchdown for McAllister there. And not much time going with the win for the Calgary Stampeders. 11 seconds remaining here in the quarter.
Yeah, it's always funny, those last 11 seconds, because I was sitting here up here going, man, if those 11 seconds had run down, Sask is punting with the win and gaining another 7. The other one, the defense wasn't on the field. It was a missed field goal return. And then they don't turn the ball over offensively. The Riders don't. So that's the recipe success working once again for Corey Mason and his team.
After Brissett's catch, they're just into Saskatchewan territory. First and 10. Adams, a deep rip inside the 30, and it's caught. Eric Brooks with the big catch. Back-to-back passing plays that the Stampeders offense needed. That was good for 25.
You'll see him motioning in, and then what he's going to do is there's going to be somebody running, clearing out. You always do a lot of these clear out routes versus zone. You can see the first player clearing through, and then Brooks is over the top of Jameer Thurman, and then a great leveled throw by Vernon Adams over the top, just above Thurman.
Brissett providing the decoy there. The big gain, and it's now Calgary first and 10. The Saskatchewan 29-yard line. A little bit of a run look. And they'll give it on the end around. It's Tyreek McAllister with a head of steam, 20 to the 15. Flag down after the 14-yard gain for Tyreek McAllister.
Yeah, there's going to be a horse collar tackle on this, trying to get McAllister.
Major foul, horse collar tackle. Saskatchewan number 98, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
You're not having success running the ball inside. Why? Because Sask has all their linebackers in. They have extra people around the line of scrimmage, as we see that horse collar right there by Evans. So what do? Is you hand the ball on the perimeter when they're stopping the run inside with extra players. Get the ball out on the perimeter. Evans gets the penalty to put the ball at the 1-yard line. Huge response here for Calgary.
No more half the distance to the goal line on penalties like that. This is first and goal Calgary from the 1-yard line. Quincy Vaughn The chance for touchdown number 2. He dives and he is in for the score. A badly needed Calgary score to make it 31-23.
How weird is this game? Another touchdown into the wind. Nobody's got any points this game with the win.
It was 28, yeah, that's 28-0 Saskatchewan in the first half, so this is now 35, convert pending, as Quincy Vaughn gets some help from his friends and gets in for his second touchdown of the game. A 4-play, 78-yard touchdown drive. Calgary needed to score fairly quickly. A minute 20 would be very, very quick.
Yeah, and I like some of those calls you just saw. Pat Delmonico, offensive coordinator. Hey, we're having troubles running the ball up inside. They get extra linebackers there. Let's get the ball on the perimeter.
We haven't reached the point where teams go for 2 down 4 to his 12-yard line. Surveying, blocker in front, and he'll be thrown down by Kalon Thomas on the far side of the field. Kelechi Anulavechi in there as well, as Saskatchewan now only up a score despite their dominance, and Trevor Harris being 7 yards away from his 57th career 300-yard game.
Very efficient once again. 3 TDs, 0 interceptions. Needs a big one here.
What's their focus here? Because this is a 35-second clock era. Is it the same as the old 20-second clock that they could really exploit in situations like this?
You know, I think you're just still playing football here. For Mark Miller, call whatever you need to do. Do your best things in the game plan you've seen off the iPad the last couple of series.
Daniel Johnson, the tight end, to the right-hand side, and they will run it with Bertrand Houdon. Flag down. And the pile keeps on pushing and pushing and pushing. This feels like American Gladiators, my goodness. As it ends up a 12-yard gain. I don't know how much credit we give to Bertrand Houdon and how much to all the guys shoving him. But with A.J. Ouellette on the sideline, it's a nice pickup. However, Saskatchewan does not seem to believe it will stand.
Procedure, no end, Saskatchewan. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And Corey Mace doesn't understand. I thought 65, Daniel Johnson, was the tight end to the right. And Corey Mace doesn't necessarily believe it.
Well, you have a tight end right here.
Yeah.
And that tight end has an ineligible number, but he has to report on every play. He has to tell the officials, hi, I'm reporting as an eligible number, and the officials then can tell the defense, hey, he's an eligible receiver. It looks like he didn't report. That's how the penalty is called.
So though he was on the line in the right position, he didn't do the right thing. Interesting. Harris, the quick out. That one caught. Keyshawn Johnson had to reach back in front of Anthony Johnson to take that one away.
Yeah, so the penalty becomes, you have 5 offensive linemen, and those players have to be covered by an eligible number. If you don't report, that's an ineligible number. And, you know, that hurts on a run play. Sometimes you just say, hey, we don't care. Put a guy on the line of scrimmage no matter what to cover that, because it's a run play. You don't get a penalty. You only have penalties when you don't have enough people on the line of scrimmage. You can have as many as you want on a run play.
Yeah, they'll look at the official and brush their jersey, right? Say, hey, I'm eligible. 7 yards for Harris is exactly at 300, and now 2nd and 8. Pocket, a lot of time to throw the jump ball for Johnson, who got his hands to it, but it looked like Anthony Johnson did a nice job to force him to the sideline, force the incompletion.
And the defense used their will linebacker in a position to you see Wilson on the inside, forcing a double team on the inside, forces him to take the throw on the outside. Difficult spot, not a lot of room out there. Anthony Johnson doing a good job, but they took away the inside throw, forcing Trevor to go to the deep throw downfield.
Second straight 2-0 for the Riders, and what an interesting spot we're in now with McAllister set to return down. One hop intended for Brooks, and it will fall incomplete. Immediate pressure off his left side from Antoine Brooks, it looked like.
A little bit of pressure. You're going to see Anton Brooks coming off this edge blitzing, and this is what you call a cop out for the quarterback. He sees it and spins, then he just double clutches this throw here. Difficult. You do all the work to avoid Anton Brooks, the free rusher, and then you just missed a wide open throw. Right? You really got to make sure when you're rushing Vernon Adams, you got to force him back inside. You see Josh Bell, defense coordinator, bring a little bit of pressure on 1st and 10.
2nd and 10. Saskatchewan bringing a lot of folks. Flag down, and the ball is down incomplete. Intended for Dedrick Mills, but a flag down at the snap.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 98. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Desmond Evans, the rookie defensive end, dinged once again. And how does that change things? Making it 2nd and 5 now for Calgary.
Like you said, the second right there, 2nd of the game for Desmond Evans. Hard count, good success on the hard count. A little bit of pressure in here. Flipping the screen on the outside versus the pressure. It's huge. Get there 2nd and medium.
Juju Hughes making his CFL debut in the place of Roland Milligan, being examined on the far side of the field. Hughes, first-year man out of Fresno State, comes to the Riders after 4 seasons in the NFL with 3 teams, plus a little UFL stop in Birmingham.
Yeah, and I love a football player. And now you get Juju, who's going to go in, and he says, hey, Corey spun the positive. You say, listen, Roland Milligan's going to be back. He's a great player for our football team. But, hey, Juju Hughes is a young guy we really like. We're going to get reps for a young guy who's going to make our team better. That's what you want out of your team. Hey, how many of our younger guys can we still win games when they're getting opportunities? Let me circle where he is right there. Okay, this is a non-contact injury as he's away from as he backpedals.
Oh, no.
Catches his foot.
And the grab at the back of his ankle. Saskatchewan Roughrider fans don't need to be reminded of Achilles injuries, 5 of them in that 2021 season. And we certainly hope the best for Hughes making his debut, so it'll cause some shuffling now in this Saskatchewan defensive backfield, as Malcolm Bell will come in at the corner alongside DeMarcus Fields, and Marcus Sales moves to the boundary halfback spot. So that is the shuffle to adapt for Hughes. Can Calgary take advantage? A jump again. It was Demery or it was Desmond Evans, and I think Evans is saying, this one is not on me.
I think it's Deontay Demery. I think left tackle. I think he jumped.
Procedure.
Hard count.
Calgary number 60. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
I was going to say it better be, because a rookie taking 3 penalties. Oh, man.
You can see him right here at the left-hand side of the line. On the hard count, trying to help your squad, trying to help your offensive linemen. You just can't do that. You got to hold your water. Always talk about hold your water. Stay in there on the hard count.
All right, so we're back to 2nd and 10 Calgary. We're on 33-yard line. Back where we were a minute ago. And Saskatchewan bringing the blitz. Adams stepping in, up for Philpott, and it's knocked away. There's Marcus Sales, moved over to that boundary halfback spot and doing Marcus Sales things there.
Josh Bell brought the blitz. He says, I'm going to make you get the ball out of your hands quickly. He's going to trust. You can see right here, there's going to be a corner out. He's going to trust that his defensive backs are going to be in good position. Marcus Sales, nice spin out of it. He sees the corner out happen. He spins out, undercuts it, gets a knockdown, try to knock that ball away.
Bassett gets the punt away very quickly. It's Letcher from his own 36-yard line to the sideline and wrestled down shy of the 45-yard line. 9:47 to go here in Calgary. Riders with a 7-point lead, a precarious lead. That's 1 score and a kick convert, so any points here would be a big benefit. Do they trust their kicker even with the wind, having passed up an opportunity in the 3rd quarter to kick one? The handoff, some dancing and some more pushing. In the pilots, Bertrand Houdon again, as Ouellette still is on the sideline after limping off in quarter number 3.
Calgary's done a pretty good job stopping the run in the 2nd half. I think that was a good adjustment. They've really been able to kind of shut down some of these big runs. They had a couple of big ones early in the half. They had the big start of the 3rd quarter. But when they're needed, great 2nd and longs for Trevor. Again, that's Trevor Harris' 2nd and medium we talked about last week was 100% conversion. 2nd and long, only 40%. So this is what you got to do, great 2nd and long.
67% of their 2nd down conversions in this game. They need it here on 2nd and 7. Harris, pressure on him and down. Clear and takes. Busted through, and I don't think Jalen Hutchings was far behind. A
The hard part about the speed of the defensive ends in Clarence Hicks is when he does a speed rush on the outside, you really got to set back. But sometimes he's going to make an inside move. He starts with an outside move, and then he cross faces, gets a big move inside Peyton Collins, gets right to the quarterback. You can't give up your inside foot. You got to protect the inside gap. Big move, Clarence Hicks.
The punt up into the breeze. McAllister wants everybody to stay away from it, and it goes out of bounds. Clarence Hicks, great event for the CFL and Purelator. See what the Stampeders have on 1st and 10, down a score. Here is the run game that they've been hoping to get going. 8 yards for Dedrick Mills on one of his better carries in this game.
Sometimes you're just trying to get big offensive linemen and good opportunities. Nakano is going to pull into the hole, and he's going to create the hole for Dedrick Mills. You can see him up. He's isolated on the linebacker, drives him downfield to create the 8-yard gain for Dedrick Mills.
2nd and 2 then for the Stamps. Tight end and fullback in there. Feels like a run play, but anything is possible. Mills dusts one man 40 to the 45-yard line, where he's brought down by Malcolm Bell. Dedrick Mills, 9 yards there, and the engine is humming.
Yeah, and that's the stuff you talk about. You're not going to get carries on 2nd and long. 2nd and 2, you're going to get some. Sometimes those are just 2-yard gains. Sometimes you're going to bounce them out for big yardage. So 1st down success, huge for this football team. And they've struggled against, obviously, the best run defense in the Canadian Football League.
7 minutes to go in this game. I'm not sure Calgary wants Saskatchewan to have too many more possessions. So using that run game, churning some clock, may not be their worst enemy. Fullback to the left is Vaughn. There's Mills again, open 50 into Saskatchewan territory. And down Jackson Ford had to come down from his safety position to make the tackle. 14 yards, his longest carry of the day.
Watch Quincy Vaughn on this football play. Let him do a bunch of different things. He's going to once again be what we call an insert. He's going to add in, one kicks out. Watch what he does right there. Good kick out block. Dedrick Mills breaks right up inside. Don't call me a 3rd-string quarterback. Call me a fullback. I'm going to do whatever it takes in this game.
They all like to hit, no matter what position they play. Calgary is driving. How about a draw play to Mills? Why not go back to the bank there? Mills, good for a gain of 3. Gave him the pass look and ran it. As Calgary continues to drive, again going against the wind. 35 points against the wind so far. Calgary needs that to add 7 more. Or what would they consider should they get a touchdown on Joshua Bell's defense?
Yeah, in last series, Josh Bell said, you know what, I'm going to pressure the quarterback. I'm going to force the ball out of his hand quickly with a 1+ cover 0. They're lined up in it right now. They're showing it. Will they do it? Calgary is added in to protect.
Here comes 7. Adams hit from behind, and he holds on to the football. Thankfully for Stampeders fans, but James Vaughters led the Bombers in sacks in 25, leading the Riders and Josh Bell in celebration.
Little miscommunication here by Vaughters. By James Vaughters is free here because the left tackle isn't sure Demery gets actually stepped on. He can't get out to James Vaughters. James Vaughters has a short corner, is able to help get a stop on Vernon Adams because Demery gets stepped on by his guard.
Bassett's punt on the numbers at the 10-yard line for Letcher, just speeding up the field to about the 25-yard line. A 44-yard punt and a good return from Letcher.
Football's a crazy game. Sometimes you're like, okay, we got to protect it, everything well, and then the left guard steps on the left tackle and all of a sudden leads to a pressure.
Vaughters was such a big pickup for Saskatchewan. As you mentioned, the guys they lost in free agency off that defensive line, Malik Carney, Habakkuk Baldonado, Micah Johnson. Vaughters set free by Winnipeg, and just the ultimate CFL professional defensive end. At least 5 sacks I believe it's every year in his CFL career. At least 5 sacks, coming off 6 last season.
Well, we'll see what Clarence Hicks has on this other side. See what happens. You're going to get some run plays right here from the Riders.
Johnson, the tight end, to the right-hand side as they give it to Bertrand Houdon. up to the 32-yard line. This is the grinded out time of the game and the time for timeouts from the Calgary side of the game.
That's going to keep the clock going, but I expect Trevor to put the ball up in the air.
Calgary with the timeout, so they will have one remaining here. 4:04 left. Saskatchewan facing the 2nd and 6. Under the 4-man rush, Harris has to pick it off the turf. Out wide at the sticks, and it is caught. We've got Del Duncan Busby on the far side of the field. 6+1 is a Saskatchewan first down.
Best thing that happened was that they had only a 6 yards to go. On the outside, they're just going to run a 6-yard out right at the sticks. You're going to see the ball goes vertical and then right out to the flat, right at the sticks, right? Throw it 6 yards, get the extra yards for the first down, go back to running the football again.
Moncrief with that little peek, and Del Duncan Busby able to get his 2nd catch of the game. 39-yard line, 1st and 10. The tight ends are back in. And a play action. Harris looking left side for Keyshawn Johnson. And Anthony Johnson in terrific coverage. They hit that play last week against BC, but not there.
You know, this is very similar to what happened last week. Montreal, late in their game, they took a shot, hit it for a touchdown. Here, hey, they're saying, hey, everybody's stopping the run. This is a safe, protected pass. We should get the one-on-one opportunity. But Anthony Johnson gets this knockdown to stop the clock here. Okay, but the clock should go right down, and it'll stop right now at the 3-minute warning.
Yeah, they get to the 3-minute warning now. Essentially an autumn. After that first down incompletion, Saskatchewan faces 2nd and 10 from their own 39. Up by 7, and the clock stopped at exactly 3 minutes to go.
How are they helping Clarence Hicks? How are they helping stop Clarence Hicks in pass rush?
Harris across the middle behind his intended receiver, Emelis. Back into Jaden Grant, who has some words of celebration because Calgary has hope, about to get the ball back.
Field goal range doesn't really matter, obviously, with the score of this, so they got to drive, and we know this whole game, the points have only come against the win.
Harris just a little behind Emelis there. Emelis 3 for 78 in this game. Harris 307 passing, but it's been a little cold here in the 4th quarter. The clock is stopped at 2:55, so Saskatchewan is working the play clock for good practice, and Chapman's punt is up. And here's McAllister. Dropped it, scoops it at the 15. 56-yard punt is good news for the Riders, and then spun out of bounds. David Benda with the tackle there at the far side. And Calgary has a lot of room to work with here, needing the touchdown. Lapo, as you mentioned, down 7, field goals not in play, I would
and
suspect.
you see there's a lot of time left on the clock for that 2nd and long. You know, that 2nd and 10 where is an incomplete pass. You know, you're still 2nd and 10. You're going to try your best to get a throw off to keep the ball in your hands. Unless you're in a 2nd and 8-7, you might call a draw play.
Hello, you.
Hello.
Enjoying some Stampeders football, are you? 1st and 10, Stamps from their 22-yard line. 3 receivers to Adams right. Extra man coming. Adams under pressure, bailed out across the middle of the 35. Vernon Adams to Eric Brooks. What a throw from Adams with pressure directly in his face.
Bunch of guys denting the pocket. You see Mike Rose getting in there. You see all these guys standing at the line of scrimmage trying to show blitz. They drop out, but Brooks is the inside receiver. It's hard for the linebacker. You see Thurman overrun it because he's dropping out quickly, and then you get the 14-yard completion to Brooks. 1st and 10
for the 36 with 2:23 remaining. Time to run it with Mills to the outside. He is hit and down shy of the 40-yard line. Is it Marcus Sales sticking his nose in there?
You know, I think for Calgary Stampeders, they got a lot of confidence. 2 weeks ago, they did a 104-yard drive at the end of the game. Dedrick Mills circles the defense on the outside zone. As the end doesn't play contain, he's just going to stay on his landmark and keep running outside for the 4-yard gain.
Are you in 3-down territory here at 2:07 on the clock?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, 2nd and 7 for Adams. They move the 3 receivers to the left-hand side. Sask puts 5 on the line of scrimmage. They all rush. Adams bombing it to the outside at midfield. A leaping catch, and I'm not 100% sure why Philpott left for it. And it's 3rd down Stampeders and decision time for Dave Dickinson.
Philpott's going to show up on the right part of your screen. It's what you call a bench route, where you bench it down to the sideline. He leaves his feet a little bit and just loses sight of it. Control as he leaves his feet. Sometimes these leave your feet catches are very difficult. You got to work on those catches. He's got to make that catch. Ball hits him right in the hand.
3rd and 7. If you give it up, Saskatchewan's probably in field goal range. Adams across the middle, complete for the 1st down. Tevin Jones up to the 50-yard line. I wondered if the Calgary receiver in the slot got early across the line. It did not matter. And Tevin Jones good for 11.
Here's Tevin Jones. Okay, we'll take a look and see if anybody's off. They're right on. You guys are always trying to jump the...
Adams guns it quickly. It's Philpott, makes the catch across the 50 down to the 45. Philpott just hooks it up short, races it for 15 more with 97 seconds remaining.
Really good. Clear out on the last play on the 3rd and 5. Get the underneath crossing route. Now you're in tempo. Take the softness of the defense, gives you a hitch. Take the hitch.
3 receivers to Adams right, looking left. Gunning a little comeback. It's Tevin Jones if he can break a tackle. Forced out of bounds by Tavon Campbell. Jones, a massive 2nd down, almost conversion in that 104-yard drive against Winnipeg. Got 14 on 2nd and 15 here. He's right close to a 1st
Vernon's
down.
looking inside. There's a double team on the inside on Jalen Philpott, so he takes the outside throw. Good concentration, good throw on the outside. Create the 2nd and short scenario.
Chris Fortan substitutes on. Presumably an extra offensive lineman out there for Calgary here on 2nd and 2. And motion. And everything feels like a run play. Dedrick Mills, and he's got a hold at 30. Off a tackle, spins down to the 25 and down to the 23-yard line. DeMarcus Fields with the tackle. Oh, they've unlocked their big back.
A little bit what you call, some people call this ugly or a same side run. You're trying to show it's run to the left, but it's right down the middle of the defense. Watch Fortan right here. Knock the defenders, bash the hole, get this huge 13-yard gain. Watch him knock Thurman right there. 2nd-year player Chris Fortan from UConn.
8th play of the drive with 1:08 remaining and the clock running. Adams drop play. Mills 20 to the 15 over a man, leaving bodies in his wake at the 12-yard line. They couldn't get anything in the run game in the 1st half. They're getting everything here in the 4th quarter.
Josh Woods runs out of the box as Josh Woods runs out of the box to go play coverage, cover all these receivers. Great call by offensive coordinator Pat Delmonico. Let's do another draw as everybody expands out of the box. Get Mills another carry.
12-yard gain. Mills over 90 yards now. More importantly, 1st and 10 from the Saskatchewan 12. A touchdown and a convert would tie it. Adams, blitz coming. He's going to do scramble out to his left. Trying to keep the pass alive to the end zone. Jump ball. Tevin Jones for the touchdown. Vernon Adams scrambling to throw. And big Tevin Jones gets his first touchdown of the season. Calgary back within 1 with 34 seconds to go. Corey Mason, disbelief.
This is why you love quarterbacks. You're going to see a blocker come in and Josh Woods blitz. And Josh Woods gets there as Philpott comes in. Philpott goes to make the block. He loses the block, but Woods can't bring him down. You want mobile quarterbacks so they can do things like this with the football. Just throw it up to the spot for Tavon Jones. Huge play by Vernon Adams.
And the convert from Mickatopney, big as well. 31-31. It's good to have 6'3". Redemptive story for Alex Hale. They need a good kickoff to Calgary from Mickatopney here. It is up. Letcher. This is good. It's to the 15-yard line, middle of the field. He'll have a chance to return at 25, 30 to the 35, and shy of the 40. 30-yard line.
This game is going to come down to the Calgary defense. Can they get a stop on that guy right there? That guy who throws completions, sees every coverage, know what's happening. Calgary's D's got to make this stop right there. Keep them kicking a field goal and take this, get it into overtime.
If you thought a football triple header was not enough.
How about that? Back-to-back
overtime.
Well, we don't have it yet. 27 seconds.
But it lays in front of us. However, Calgary saw Zach Collaros and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense get a field goal in a scenario much like this one. Still no Ouellette. It's Bertrand Hudon splitting out 1st and 10. Harris gunning across the middle. Kian Schaefer-Baker down to shy of the 50 with 21 seconds left on the clock. 61 yards away, so a 69-yard field goal. They'll try to shorten it up for Alex Hale for his first CFL game winner potentially.
Schaefer-Baker just goes into the zone, vacated by the linebacker.
Harris pumps in a hole, open, almost picked off the hands of Sam Emelis. Anthony Johnson had it in his red gloves, but it falls incomplete with 12 seconds to go. Does that play save the Riders' chances here?
Anthony Johnson thinking it's going to be an underneath throw on the two underneath 6-yard hitches. He gets depth at the end, and he just can't bring it down. You got look the ball in your hand, Anthony. Come on, man.
2nd and 10. Riders on their own 49-yard line. Maybe 2 more plays before a field goal attempt that would win it. 4-man rush. Harris gunning the out. High and incomplete. Keyshawn tried to one-hand that ball. It falls incomplete with 8 seconds left. Saskatchewan set to send on the punt team.
So, you know, you don't have enough time. Like, there are some scenarios you do where you're going to try to throw the ball. Like, you don't want to punt the ball. And if you had 6 seconds left, you can try to do what you call victory pass, where you just throw the ball as far as you can, as high as you can, out of bounds.
Yeah.
But it's just a little long for that, so you're going to have to punt the football.
And too much time to turn around and run toward your own end zone. Yep. You'll have to boot it. And this one, Brooks bobbles it, scoops it up, made the first man miss, flag down. 20. Down to the 22-yard line with zeros on the clock. And pending the penalty being exactly what we think it is against Calgary, we're going to have overtime. 2 overtime games, alternating chances from the 35-yard line. They'll fake the handoff. Adams looking, surveying, under pressure. Back across his body to Brooks at the 25-yard line and down to the 21. Eric Brooks again with catch number 6.
Jameer Thurman is in a great spot. If you watch him, he sees this play action is going to happen. He goes and gets underneath. He gets in a good position as he's trying to go make a play right here. But then all of a sudden the throw's all the way across the field, across his body. That's a great throw by Vernon Adams, getting it to Brooks. Thurman's trying to get that stop on the edge. Brooks is in a good spot, but Vernon Adams using his legs.
1st and 10 for the 22. Vaughn in the backfield as they hand it off. Mills, 20, 15. Dedrick Mills. The engine is humming. 11 yards and a Calgary first down.
Christy Nakanu, he creates this hole. Does a great job pushing everybody, getting the cut down, and then getting the crease that Mills follows right up inside. First down on first down.
Questions being asked now of this Saskatchewan defense, figuratively speaking. Can they get Calgary off the field, hold them to a field goal attempt here as the Stamps have driven now 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. 6 on the line of scrimmage. Here come both linebackers across the middle, and it's through the hands of Brooks and incomplete. Both linebackers, Thurman and Woods, coming on that one.
Just a little quick throw in here. Vernon had to throw this quick because this is what you would call 1+. There's one more blitzer coming. You can see Vernon right there going, hey, you got to see it. I know it's blitz. I got to get the ball in my hands. I'm going to bring it to you quickly. You got to see that ball, Brooks. I'm throwing it as soon as I see the extra defender rushing.
2nd and 10 now for the Stampeders. They'll put 3 receivers into the short side. Adams right. Saskatchewan Saskatchewan will play some coverage. Adams waiting, pulls it down, and he's going to scramble. And he's caught from behind. James Fodders with a big play. The sack was big. The tackle there might be even bigger as it holds Calgary to a field goal attempt on the opening possession of OT.
Fodders, great effort as he comes in. He dents the pocket. Now he's recovering, chasing, spinning. That's why you have to have defensive linemen who have great hips and can turn and start going. Great play on one of the most mobile quarterbacks we've seen in a long time in this league, getting that foot down.
Bassett will pin this ball right hash mark at the 17-yard line. Mickatomi for the lead is up and good. So he set the bar. 3 points for Calgary. What can Saskatchewan do in response? They will get their possession from the 35, and we'll work from there. If it's tied, you saw the rules earlier. If it's tied, they'll do once more from the 35, or heaven forbid, maybe the new rule comes into play.
Yes, with 2-point conversions as we go. But for Trevor Harris and Mark Mueller and company, hey, just keep doing what we've been doing. We believe it's going to be successful. Lead us down to a touchdown.
It's been a little cold for the Riders. 4 plays, 11 yards, 5 plays, 11 yards, 3 plays, minus 6 yards. They haven't had a drive longer than 5 plays in their last 5 drives. They'll need it here without their running back, A.J. Olent. It's Bertrand Hudon looking to push the pile down to the 30-yard line. Thomas Bertrand Hudon, good for 5.
Moncrief recognizes this run, comes in, delivers a shot. You know, good run here to get you a little bit closer. You know, you're at the 30-yard line. Get a little bit of wind at your back. You want to make sure that first play, you don't lose any yardage. You want to make sure I've got the field goal in my pocket to continue this overtime. So you didn't want to lose yards on first one. Sitting at a good second and medium.
How aggressive will they be on 2nd and 5? Harris looking to his right, throws it quickly. Caught by Jalen Johnson, taken away. It was in his hands until Derek Moncrief got in there. So it's 3rd down, and Alex Hale will have a chance to extend this game.
What Moncrief is so good at, he's covering the inside slot. That's why Trevor goes to the outside one, and then he shows up. He recovers after the ball's thrown and gets a piece of this throw into Johnson. Moncrief showing up once again out at that Sam linebacker position.
Alex Hale, 1 for 2, has a 38-yarder to send this game to a 2nd overtime, going with the breeze. The hold is good. The kick is good. And 34-34 will send us to overtime number 2, and the Saskatchewan offense will stay on the field.
Good stop on defense, you know, especially on a 2nd and medium. Trevor Harris gets that quick throw on the outside, but Moncrief's really good. This was close by Hale.
So 3 points for 3 points for each team into the breeze. I think we're all expecting that going now into the wind. With the wind, 3 apiece. This is where the money's made in this game.
It's where all the touchdowns are, right?
It's absolutely unexpected. The 2 games here in Calgary have featured massive wind, problems for both teams. And I say problems because except for 28, was it still 28-7? Saskatchewan going into the win. I'm just flustered at 2 overtimes and how this game turned when Saskatchewan, their offense was 3-1 at one point. Like they were running all over this Calgary team, and then all of a sudden this 4th quarter, Dedrick Mills has really come alive.
And now the interesting thing that's really got to happen here for Calgary is with this ball at the 35 and us flipping sides, they're into, I don't think the wind is as bad as it was to start the game, but there still is a decent amount of wind here. They got to make sure that they get some yardage on one of these 2 downs to make sure you can still kick a field goal.
So here come the Stampeders. Into the breeze now from the 35, 1st and 10. VA 217 yards passing, goes play action. Deep on the outside, tight coverage! Oh, into the hands of DeMarcus Fields, who is going to get called. You saw the flag down as Eric Brooks wants pass pass interference.
I think they're going to get this. I mean, DeMarcus Fields, you can see Brooks moving and DeMarcus Fields pulling him down. Okay, we're right there. There's Brooks. We'll watch this as he goes, oh, he's going to fake a stalk. This is a screen and go
Offensive
play.
pass interference. Calgary number 87.
Whoa,
10-yard penalty.
OPI, everybody.
Well, you can see Brooks with his Brooks's left hand in there grabbing DeMarcus Fields. So this is a huge penalty. Getting this penalty on first down now is probably taking you out of field goal range.
At the 45, this would be a 53-yard attempt.
Into the wind.
Into the wind. So
worst case scenario,
well,
Stampeders.
It puts Calgary, at least for the moment, in 3-down territory, you'd have to believe. Adams in the pocket. Out wide open is Brissett. At the 30, broke a tackle down to the 25-yard line. The penalty turned out to be no problem as Dejon Brissett was left side the 25. Wide receiver screen out to Brooks. Blockers in front, 20, 15, flag down in the area of holding. He is down just shy of the 5-yard line, but a flag down thrown toward Bashawn Genesis, the receiver.
Holding. Calgary number 81. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And it was Genesis called for the foul there, trying to block DeMarcus Fields.
You know, these screen passes are very difficult for some of these receivers to block on the edge, especially when you see the ball in the air quickly. Those DBs are going to come up quickly. This is a well-executed play.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan blitz. They threw it on the perimeter to the screen that handles the blitz. You just can't get the holding call. Dave Dickinson doesn't think it's a holding call.
Ball moved back to just inside the Saskatchewan 35 for this 1st and 20 play. They stack up the line of scrimmage. 5-man run. Adams just throws the ball away. Wasn't sure if he was trying to set up a quarterback draw, but just chucked it at the feet of his running back.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
And it'll be 2nd and 20 for the Stamps.
So we're going to see pressure coming in. We got a couple of people on the sideline. You see Evans coming off the edge here.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
That absolutely looked like an incomplete pass. Yeah. Trevor Harris's ball earlier on, he was not in a throwing motion. Is Adams in a throwing motion here?
No, I think this is going to be a throw by the replay center. I think the replay center is going to say this is a throw.
His hand appeared to get swatted by, I didn't see who the defender was, but the white glove smacks the back of Adams' hand, which I guess is what they'll take a look at. But everything about that felt like, I mean, a heads-up play from Adams. It wasn't, whether that was a quarterback draw or what it was going bad, and he...
I think the pressure, I think it was a pressure situation. He had to get the...
Desmond, the disruptor, Evans, the rookie out of NC State, getting in on Vernon Adams on that one. All right, as we wait the call from referee Tom Valesi, this would be a massive moment in this game. If this is a fumble, Adams stepping up. I see what Saskatchewan wants. I see what Corey Mace wants.
I don't think it's conclusive enough to overturn the call.
And there's the rub, right? It's not what actually happened. It's what can replay prove, right?
Clear and obvious.
Exactly.
Is what the replay center always talks about. Clear and obvious.
Calgary fans waiting to find out. Turnovers in overtime are death in the Canadian Football League. Oh, I see what they're saying. Referee Tom Valesi.
After review by the replay center, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
If you are a Riders fan, you might say that was very clearly a fumble. Was it clear and obvious enough to overturn is always the standard. All right. Stamps now 2nd and 20 from just outside the 34. 2 men creep up. 7-man pressure. Adams bailed out. Caught. Barnes, 25, still on the run. 20 and down to the 17-yard line. Adams standing tall in for 17 yards.
Josh Bell dials up a big blitz. Watch, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an extra guy coming off the edge. All these guys are blitzing. It's 1+. What does he do? Vernon retreats, finds Clark Barnes, gets him on the inside, but it's still 2 yards short because of what happened on their first drive, first play. So now field goal coming.
Jude McAtamney from just inside the 25-yard line, 2 for 2 on the day. He's hit all of his converts as well to give Calgary the lead. And it's good.
And that was a big gain because even if that ball is at the 35, there's no guarantee with this win that would have been an easy field goal.
Every yard closer makes a big deal in these circumstances. Saskatchewan's final chance to respond from the 35. A touchdown will win it for the Riders. A field goal will get our first look at the shootout of converts from the 3-yard line. The new rule in the CFL this season for overtimes. They've decided they don't want any more ties.
CFL hates ties. They hate ties.
Well, who wants to kiss their sister, Lapo? Nobody wants that. All right, Trevor Harris and company. 43-yard field goal from this spot right here. As you said, Lapo, with the breeze is no sure thing. Tight end and an extra blocker in there on first round. Fake it to Bertrand Hudon. The deep out. Stroke. Emma's diving. He has it in his hands. His feet were in bounds. And it's a first down for the Riders with a gain of 12.
Big time throw. Huge catch by Sam Emulus. He's taking the one-on-one for the 3rd time today, but it's a little far outside. Diving catch, gets his knees inbound. That's a huge play by Emulus. And the trust that Trevor Harris has. A quick play action. I'm going to throw it outside to my guy who had 3 touchdowns last week.
Kian Schaefer-Baker on 2 touchdowns in this game. 119 yards receiving. Could the 3rd one be in his future? He's the 2nd receiver on the bottom of your screen. Bertrand Hudon around 1 man and up forward to the 20-yard line. 3 yards from Bertrand Hudon.
Jalen Hutchings really got some good penetration at the start of that run. Pushed Jacob Bramer out of the way to make the stop. You can see him right here. Watch what happens on the run. Trying to get a little bit closer. Dave throws and gets in there for the goal.
With the help from Furland as well. Saskatchewan 2nd and 7. Harris with 3 receivers to his right, looking left, now back to his right. Harris can scramble, keeps it alive at the sticks. The comeback, Dale Duncan Busby. Right near the sticks, they spot it at the 12, and it's another Riders first down.
When we talked to Trevor Harris this week, talked about I don't run, Trevor Harris doesn't run. He says, no, I go through all my progressions. I will run when I have to if I can't find something. And that's what you get right there. A little bit of a scramble to find one of his outlet receivers. Great catch with the knee down.
Knees 100% down.
Okay. Yep.
Dell Duncan Busby did it, perhaps wobble when he hit the ground.
They will go on that ball, though.
And there is a whistle.
Here we go.
Dave Dickinson with a challenge flag.
Thought that ball might have dropped out at the end.
That was a 2nd and 7 play. So Dickinson, you might as well in this spot use that challenge flag.
Calgary is challenging. The pass was incomplete. We'll review the play.
Is the knee down? Does he have possession?
I think the knee's down, but did he survive contact with the ground?
Shins down. What about the football?
I think the ball touches. Between his elbows.
And there, look how much it moves.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's rolling. He's got his hand on it, and it's rolling. He's absolutely in bounds, but ball moves with his hand.
He's got his hands underneath it, though. Like, this is, I would not want to be the replay center right now on this call.
Once again, is that enough to overturn the call on the field? Dell Duncan Busby would have Saskatchewan in a fantastic position. 1st and 10 from the 12. But if this is ruled incomplete, they're going to need an Alex Hale field goal to keep this game going. Yeah, Saskatchewan fans should be a little nervous here. Again, Duncan Busby just trying to come back to the football.
I think that's not a catch. I don't think that's a catch. It's my call.
After review by the replay center, the ruling on the field stands. We have a completed catch.
Okay.
Was it enough to overturn? It doesn't matter what the truth is. What can replay see, and will it be definitive? It's a Duncan Busby catch.
Did Tom Valesi just say the command center? I think he did. I think that's the second time. I'm just going on the record saying it's a replay center, not the command center, because I always screw that up.
First and 10 from the 12. Couple of tight ends in there. Fake the hand up. Kean Schaefer-Baker stopped at the goal line. He was cracked by Jackson Sombach, and Kean Schaefer-Baker was roughly 2 feet from the game-winning touchdown.
Nice play by Jackson Sombach, knocking him back in. But you've put the ball in a position at this yard line for Tommy Stevens football with 2 downs. Stomach the ball.
3 downs. First and goal
Yeah,
now.
first and goal now. Yeah, sorry.
Would they go for it on 3rd down becomes an interesting question. But Tommy Stevens.
Got 3 plays to get it in, finish the game right here.
Yeah, first and goal from the 1. Stevens, 92% career on his quarterback sneaks on all downs. These to win the game. To the right side, Stevens in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Tommy. There's a new one in Saskatchewan. It's Tommy Stevens and the Saskatchewan Roughriders pulling out in overtime, 40-37, and they send Calgary to an 0-2 start for the first time since 2009.
Tommy Stevens going off tackle here. You see those 2 big bodies in the front side gap. So what does he do? He goes off tackle, a little bit softer out there, gets over the top for the touchdown and for the win.
Jacob